G'day folks, it's Rob here. Thought I'd do a little bit of an update clip on the front yard garden. They were in the last week or so of summer here in southeast Queensland, Australia. I don't think I've actually posted an update all summer. I think I may have done a spring one. So anyway, we'll get into it and I'll give you a bit of a look at what's been growing on in the front yard. So you're just going to have to excuse the noise. We do live on a major road and it is coming on to peak hour. Sorry about that, folks. Along the front there we've got the wicking beds, then we've got a banana tree, a little wicking bathtub garden with a few other pots I'll show you in a minute. You may not have seen that one yet. And just down here we have our pigeon pea. So the pigeon pea was cut right back and I ran it through the mulcher and then added it into compost cage number 3 along with some horse manure, and hopefully it's turning into some fantastic compost to use later. Anyway, what we might do is I might just pop along here and we'll just go through each bed. So the first 2 beds along the front are the asparagus wicking beds. All these beds, by the way, are wicking beds. Basically there's a reservoir in the bottom. Water wicks up from that reservoir and keeps the soil all nice and moist, keeps the plants and the microbes happy. These first 2 ones have the asparagus in them. This one here also has a couple of volunteer cayenne peppers or chilies. They always provide us with loads of fruit. The asparagus itself this year though hasn't done too well. Just before Christmas I had a fair bit on and I have a feeling I didn't water this bed once or twice, or the other asparagus, and for some reason this one hasn't bounced back so well. I went in there the other day with Kira and we gave it a whole heap of compost, pretty much well filled it up right to the lip of the bed. It had sunk about 2 inches or 50 mil. Filled it up with compost, put some sugarcane mulch over the top, and hopefully that'll be enough to help baby them back into life. The next bed though, different story altogether. We've continually seen new spears come up in this bed. Even though they're too small to pick to eat, it just means that the crowns are healthy and happy. Just over here in the next bed is our flint corn. We've had 2 varieties planted out in there, or sown out in there. The Aztec corn and also the glass bead corn. I got them both from a permaculture seed supplier over in Western Australia. Didn't have the best of year with these guys. I don't know whether it's because the male flowers at the top, they started to open before the first silks appeared on the stalks, or what the go is, but some of the cobs didn't develop at all. But I have set out a few of the cobs down here that we got. We got pretty much about 2 dozen all up, and we got some really nice colour variations. So just up this end here, I just wanted to show you this cob in particular first. Definitely not all the seeds got pollinated, so there's a few that don't look like they've developed at all, whereas these guys up the top here, they've developed nicely. As you can see, there's some beautiful colours there in these kernels. I love these ones here with the white and the dark colours, the light pinks or purples. So absolutely spectacular. We only got one of these guys. This is another one of my favourite, just the white and the orange. They start to go a little bit milky as they dry out, so that's all right. A couple of these red ones, not too many of them. Yeah, so we got a nice selection of colours on them. Some of them actually look like certain branded jelly beans, little speckles all the way through them. That one's an orange with a purple speckle. But yeah, I'm pretty impressed with the colours. The main reason for growing these guys though isn't just for looking at. The main reason I want to grow these is to turn them into masa flour. Basically it's the cornmeal that you use to make tortillas. My sister makes a wicked tortilla. She also has a stone mill, so hopefully, fingers crossed, Gina will let me take these over there, run them through her mill, and then also make tortillas with them. She can show me how to do that, and that way we can bring them home. Excuse the wind there, folks. We can bring them home, make up some tortillas, maybe put some fish from the aquaponics in it, some salads from the patch, and have a totally homemade meal. So there's also a couple of cobs still on the plants up there to harvest. So what we might do is we might pick them off at the end of the clip, and we'll treat it a bit like Christmas and open them up. And hopefully, well, they should be as spectacular as these guys down here. So there you go, off to the next bed. The next bed over is home to a broad ripple yellow currant that's growing over the front fence. Yeah, it's growing really well. We've actually had a little kid throw a couple back over the fence yesterday. I don't think yellows were to his liking. Down the bottom here we have the bugle pumpkin that Mr. Ben gave me, along with the taro and some other bits and pieces. Thank you very much, Mr. Ben. The plant is absolutely flogging it along. It stretches, well, it's actually growing in this bed here, but it's growing out, as you saw before, over towards the asparagus that way. and up the other way it's growing all the way through across these beds here and into the neighbour's place. So very vigorous grower. Unfortunately we're just not seeing the female fruit. Only seen 3 flowers. I've hand pollinated each one and none of them had the fruit stick to go on and mature. All of them, yeah, they pretty much all shriveled up and died. I don't know whether that's because the fruit flies got to them like the pumpkins out here, or whether there's just some sort of deficiency in this bed here. Now I know this bed here was definitely fed up on a commercial compost because I'd run out at the time when I fed this bed up and planted everything out. This bed here had some commercial and some homemade, and this bed here, the corn that I showed you just before, it just had the commercial one with some liquid feeds through the season. So hopefully with the cooler weather coming on we might get some fruit actually set on this vine. We'll just wait and see. The Thai basil in here has just been flogging it along as well. Just over in the next bed we have some black popcorn. Now these poor guys here, they didn't get a great start to life. The seed packet was left out in the rain while I was working down the back one night, and I came back and I found that they'd all germinated 2 days later. I thought I'd brought them inside. I tried to rescue as many as I could. I planted out roughly around about 20 or so in this bed here, and I popped a few into the bed next to it just in spare gaps, and none of those guys actually did any good. These guys here, we had a handful, what is there, 2, 4, 6, there's probably 8 or 9 that germinated, and we do have a couple of cobs that produce silks, and there are quite a few tassels up the top, but I'm unsure as to how well the pollination has gone with these guys. Time will tell. Definitely not something I'll be saving seeds from and trying to grow again. In the next bed over here we have some rosellas. These guys here have been a real disappointment to me. I have a feeling this is another one that was fed up with the commercial compost. By rights, these guys should have started flowering by now, and I haven't seen any flowers appear whatsoever. Unfortunately, I missed the message that from the person who told me that they were sharing these seeds from me, so I don't even know who to contact and ask what variety they are. So unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to get any rosellas this season. They are a member of the hibiscus family, and apparently you can eat the young leaves. I tried, but these guys are very tough. You can also make teas out of them as well, so that might be something we can try. It's a little bit disappointing. I did come along here during the week and I fed it up with another probably about a quarter of a barrel load of compost and gave it some more mulch. So we'll see if that does the trick and we get a bit of a late flowering. So yeah, a little bit disappointing. Down the front here we did have a volunteer pumpkin. It came out of the castings that went down when these rosellas were planted. It actually was rather impressive. It grew all down here, all along the front. I actually had it trellised up in through the bananas. There's a bit of the dead vine you can see just hanging down there. I decided to pull it when I noticed that we were getting no buds on here. I thought it may have been robbing nutrients, but not only that, we've just been absolutely smashed by the Queensland fruit fly this season. They were blowing all our pumpkins. Once they were pollinated and started to grow a bit, the Queensland fruit fly was coming down, stinging them, and the fruit was just rotting away. The plant pretty much well knows when the fruit is not viable and it just lets it go, lets it fall. I've never had them decimate pumpkins like they have this season. So that plant there, like I said, grew down there. It was down in front of this bathtub here. I had bits of it growing up the trellis. Yeah, I just pulled it. I just figured, you know, it was robbing nutrients from there and the fruit weren't sticking, no point keeping it. Over in the next bed though, that I sort of let go fallow, I did sprinkle around some leftover worm casts. That's where this pumpkin here germinated from, and the only other plant in here is a ornamental sugarcane. That one's actually coming out. I've got no real way to process that efficiently enough, so it'll be going to a new home. This pumpkin here, like I said, came up through the worm castings, and that's the pumpkin that's going down here. Same thing again. Every single fruit, bar one, was stung by the fruit fly. So just down around the bathtub, we'll go for a wander. We have a single pumpkin. It's a Jap or a Kent variety. It's got a couple of different names. Hopefully this one will be the first one we harvest. He's not the biggest pumpkin that we've grown this season. There's a couple of big ones down in the backyard, you'll see in another clip. But this one here, the stem is going slightly brown. Whoops, if I can bring the camera in. The stem's going slightly brown, and that's pretty much well how you can tell when these pumpkins are ready. The stem starts to brown off. The colours also become a little bit lighter, I've noticed, like this one's starting to do. And that's when you can cut them off off. If you're not going to eat them straight away, you can leave them out in the sun for the skin to cure, and that means they'll store longer in your pantry or wherever you want to store it. So the last bed, we'll sneak around this side of the bananas, is our taro bed in the front yard. This wicking bed here, we always had problems with it staying too moist. I think it was because it was pretty much well made on horse manure and mushroom compost, too much organic matter in there. So I figured it would be an absolutely awesome place to grow a water-loving plant like taro. As you can see, some of the stems here have fallen over. They fell victim to that occurrence I told you earlier when I missed the asparagus. These guys missed out on water as well, and as a result, yeah, some of the leaves are folded over. Not to worry though, because the plants still look like they've divided well. We've got loads of roots in there, so yeah, fingers crossed we'll get a half decent harvest. And there's this vine I was telling you about from the squash going all the way through into the neighbour's yard. So I just noticed too, while I was around here, this tomato over here that I was waiting to see what sort it was. Guess what? Anyone want to make a bet? It's a broad ripple yellow currant tomato. Who'd have thunk it? So we've got another one of them on the go out the front here. They'll keep us in little salad tomatoes. Onto the banana. The banana has got some beautiful looking fruit on it. Hopefully they'll ripen up really soon. As soon as the top ones start to turn yellow though, the smallest hint of yellow, I'll lop him off and we'll hang him up in the back walkway in the house. And yeah, that'll just make sure none of the birds come in for a bit of a feed. The trunk was starting to fall over, so all I've done is grab some bits of packing crate, and I've just zapped a couple of screws in either side, made a bit of an A-frame, and just at the top where they cross over I'm sitting the trunk, so it's pretty solid and hopefully it won't fall over. Definitely a lot better than the way I propped up the last one. So there we go. That's one bunch. Hopefully I'd say this stem here will be the next one to provide us with some. So yeah, fingers crossed we might get some more. We'll just wait and see. The bananas in the root pouches out the back are actually doing rather well too, but that's for another update I think. So just towards the top of the yard here, I've set up a bit of a trellis. It's basically two old gates from some friends, thanks Mark and Alison. I've just stuck them on some star pickets, wired them on, and I'm going to, well, I've been trying to grow some beans up there and a yam, and I'm going to be growing some melons and sweet potatoes. Just for the keen-eyed out there, the star picket on this one is in the middle, because around here, between a foot either side of the end, we have our gas mains running down there. So definitely didn't want to put a star picket down there and, you know, burst a gas main. So just in case someone was wondering why there's no star picket there. In the bathtub, I had 3 lots of beans. I had 2 lots of blue lake climbing on each end and a snake bean in the middle, but they got absolutely smashed by a couple of bugs. The big problem we had was Riptortus serapis, I think it was pronounced, or pod sucking bug. They absolutely covered a couple of the snake beans up there, and what they do is they use their proboscis to pierce the bean itself, suck the life out of them, and pretty much will ruin your crop. I have here in my hands one of the pods of the snake beans. That's where it's attached to the vine, and as you can see there's just absolutely nothing in there. They just destroy all the beans that are in the pod. So I made a decision to pull these guys out. They pretty much well turned up last year or the year before when we were growing some cowpeas out the front there, and they've pretty much well hung around. They were feasting on all the beans on the pigeon pea here, or sorry, the peas on the pigeon pea. The only way I could think to actually get rid of these guys, other than manually removing every single one, which was a bit of a job, was to pull these beans out. So we have no beans growing here, no pigeon peas forming on the plants over here after they've been cut back. So hopefully that'll just discourage them from the yard. So yeah, the snake beans out the back, knock on wood, haven't been affected yet. So what I decided to do was just leave the oregano in here by itself. I'll find some other climbing plant to put in there later. Down in here I actually have a cucumber planted in the second one, as well as the beans, so hopefully it'll pick up now. The pouches are also been fed with some more compost, and I popped in some Malabar climbing spinach from Coralie. Thank you very much, Coralie. She shared some seeds with me, so hopefully they'll grow up there as well. In this end one over here I planted some Armenian cucumber seeds, and that wilty green thing down the bottom there, is some Brazilian spinach. So if it doesn't take, I'm not too worried, but yeah, the Armenian cucumbers, they should take off, and hopefully the fruit will be produced after the Queensland fruit fly leave us alone. So over here in the new pouches, this one on the right here has a couple of Hawaiian Sunshine sweet potatoes. They're the purple variety. The ones that I harvested the other day, the tubers just didn't grow very well, so I thought what I'd do is I'd buy some new stock in. I got 3 plants from Green Harvest. Thank you very much, folks. I planted 2 of them out in here. I planted them out pretty much well as I would plant a slip out. I pulled the roots out of the tube stock, laid it across the top, and then covered it over with the leaves pointing towards the trellis, so hopefully they'll grow up there and not all over the ground. So hopefully the roots will grow down and give us some tubers in there. I've kept one more plant that will be going out in the pouch down the back that I'm filming a clip on. I've had loads of people ask me about growing these in containers, so I think I'll film a clip in the next week or so. Over in this one here, we have a Pie di Sapo or toadskin melon, just 2 little seedlings. Same deal, hope they grow up there and they really do take off. And again, if it's late enough in the season that we will miss out on the Queensland fruit fly striking them. Also too, I'll be able to save some seeds and replenish my stock. This little bit of fly screen shade cloth just on the back of the trellis. I put that there to protect these guys from the afternoon sun, but it looks like, yeah, the heat hasn't really affected them at all. I probably would have been better off putting it over there for the Brazilian spinach, so there you go. Just up this end of the bathtub, I forgot to show you, the Chinese yam. Thank you, Mr. Brad, for sending me up the planting material. A couple of little bulblets. They've taken off. They didn't do too well to begin with. You can see some nice lush growth down there. But up here, yeah, the leaves are looking pretty tragic. A little bit of yellowing around them. This was pretty much well set up while I'd run out of compost, so it had a little bit of our own compost, but the bulk of what went into the potting mix was a bought one. And I'm sorry, but I just think that the stuff we make is so much better. And since I've top dressed it a couple of weeks ago, you can see the lush green foliage that's taken off, so hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll do really well. This little black ring here is actually another pot. It's a pot plant pot I've cut the bottom out of, mainly because this root pouch is only, I think it's only around about 35 to 40 centimeters deep, so it gave me extra depth because the yams do get rather long. So I wanted to give it the best opportunity it could have to grow a nice long yam, so that's why it looks a bit weird. The little bulblets, they actually grow a little air potato on them. I haven't seen any form at all on here. Brad, who's down south in New South Wales, he's had bulblets on his already and he's harvested a few. They're supposed to taste a little bit like potato, and no, they're not the variety that are as invasive in Florida as far as I know. That's the air potato. This is a similar species but not the same, so there you go, a bit of a look at the Chinese yam. Hopefully we'll get a couple of little air taties off this one. So onto the corn. What I'm going to do is I'll just go through here, and there's a couple of cobs up there and there's another one over there. I'm just going to pull them all off and then we'll set up the camera and we'll unwrap the presents. Go for a coup, you can do the first one.
Just pull it back like this.
I'll grab one as well. Yeah, just pull it back like that one. This one here, it's actually had something, you have a bit of a munch on it. So as you can see, these guys, nothing at all. No pollination has taken place, just shriveled little bits of corn. There we go. This one here's got nice big round kernels. Again, that's because they've got room to expand. A bit of a poor pollination rate on those guys. What's yours like, Koo? Pretty much all the same thing. Big round kernels because there's a bit of room to move. Very pretty patterns though. There's Kira's next one. So yeah, looking a little bit under-pollinated. Another one here, not really pollinated. Wow. Will you look at that? I think we got maybe 10 kernels on that one. And there's Kira's last one. Same again, she's probably got 6 kernels on that one. And my last one looks more like it's come out of a can of baby sweet corn. So there we go. I think I might taste this one. Oh, taste this one. It's better. Slightly sweeter. Yeah, sorry. Corn. Tasty. So those few last cobs, they'll be added to the kitty. We'll use them to make up the corn flour or the masa flour to make up the tortillas. So not a massive harvest this season, but still, you know, I'm pretty chuffed with what we got. The stalks behind me here, I'm just going to chop them off at the base, let the roots rot in the bed there, let the worms have their way with them, and I'll just run the stalks through the mulcher, and then they'll be used as mulch back on this bed here. I'll put in a layer of a nice healthy layer of compost first and let that sit for probably about 2 or 3 weeks, and then hopefully, or maybe a bit longer, we'll just wait and see, and then hopefully that'll be our first brassica bed. Probably put some broccoli in there, or maybe some cauliflower coming into our cool months, or what we call cool months anyway, so that'll be the first brassica bed. With the sweet potato as well, they are a warm weather crop. Even though we are coming into our cooler months, I should be able to squeeze in 18 more weeks of warm weather growing to be able to get another crop. We'll just wait and see what happens with them. Gardening's one of those things, you can follow all the guidelines if you want and all the planning guides, but please think outside the box or outside the planning guides. Try things for yourself and just see what works in your area. We all have different microclimates within our own yard. I know there's some things I can grow here. My parents can't grow a 10-minute drive away because of the amount of trees they have around their place. So I hope you've enjoyed this bit of an update on the front yard veggie patch. I know it's been quite a while between drinks, but hopefully you've got your fix now. If this is the first time you've seen one of our clips and you like what you see, feel free to hit that subscribe button. But if you need further encouragement, I'll pop a couple of playlists up there and you can suss them out. Once you hit the subscribe button, you tick a little box and you'll be sent an email every time we post a clip to YouTube, and you can come along and suss it out. I think my poo fairy's just arrived, so I better sign off now. Hope everyone is well and happy, and I'll catch you next Saturday, if not before. Cheers, folks. I was right. It's the poo fairy. Hey Ben, how's it going, mate?
Not bad, Rob, yourself?
Not too bad. This is my fix of horse manure for the compost pile number 4. We're making up a 4th cage. Mr. Ben so kindly delivers it. You may know Mr. Ben from such places as Mackaways Cafe at Harrisville in southeast Queensland. I'll pop a link somewhere to a clip on his place. I better put this down and give him a hand, I think. Cheers, folks. See you, Ben.
Cheers.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Your glasses have a little afro.
My glasses have an afro.
No.
Oh, my glasses have an afro. Thanks, Kira. I look very sporting.